Hey guys, we are live. Oops, I'm just trying to bring this a little closer. Give it a second for people to hop on. Welcome everyone. Don't mind my crazy hair. It was outside and it was windy and I'm not trying to change it. So as you guys hop on, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know if you're new or returning. I love to connect with you guys. We're going to be doing some readings today and we'll be taking any questions as far as like life coaching, mindset, law of assumption, manifestation. So that's what we'll be doing today. Say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from, guys. And before we get started, I just want to let you guys know where you can catch the replay of this entire live and my previous lives is on my YouTube. So if you, wow, my hair is crazy. That's okay. We're not changing it. So if you go to my profile and then click the link there, that's my link tree. And if you scroll down, you'll see the YouTube tab. So you just click that and then that's where you can get the replays. And if you're not able to stay for this full live, catch the replay of this, okay? All of my other offerings will be there too, as far as one-on-one coaching, like if you want one-on-one calls, email coaching, personal readings that are not here, like private personal readings. We'll be doing some live readings here, but personal readings and self-paced programs, my self-concept guide, all those things, okay? So that's that. I see people joining, but then it says there's no one watching. It's really weird, but I see a lot of you are here still. So hello, welcome everyone. We'll get started. So today I am going to just start. I usually start the lives. If you're new, I start them off with just pulling a couple, 1 or 2 cards just for general overall reading, just a message to pull through for whoever's catching this either live or the replay. Okay. And then if you would like me to pull for you specifically while I'm on this live, hello everyone. Hi locator. If you'd like me to do a reading specifically for you here on this live, it's $25. You just go to my profile, click the link there and then select it's very clear. It says TikTok live reading, $25. And then once you send the payment, I'll get a notification and then you just let me know either in the comments with the payment or in the comments here what you want me to pull on, okay? But let's just start. I'm going to shuffle. I'm trying to think which decks I want to use. I have a bunch here with me. I have like a whole box full of them. So I'm going to see which ones I feel called to pull from for the general. Let me see. Mighty. Odd question. I'm going to start approaching girls I'm into to date. How do I understand my league? Well, do I need anything from Whole Foods? Yes, you guys can send me tips and donations on my PayPal. It's literally on my link if you want. I love Whole Foods. Side note, there's that. But guys, this is a great question. So I teach law of assumption. I'm a manifestation coach. So your league is whatever you decide. So what I would do is before you start approaching girls, I would get into your own self-concept of who do you want to be in love in dating. So you can work on things like ways to build yourself up, essentially like I am the best there is. I am a catch. I'm incredible. Of course people are interested in dating me and going out with me because I'm amazing. I'm the best there is, like get into that. And then any specific qualities you want to hit on, go in and strengthen those. That way, when you are, because, you're the one wanting to pursue, when you are pursuing and approaching women, you're going to have this really magnetic energy. Okay. So your league is up to you. You get to decide. So you can also affirm for what caliber of women you want. Like I get the best of the best, like, things like that. Those are things I've done in my dating. This is self-concept. And if you guys want to go deeper into self-concept, I do have a self-concept guide. It's, if you go to the link, so I'm just going to refer to my link a lot, guys. It's just in my profile. It's my link tree. But if you go under self-paced programs, my self-concept guide's there. Again, my hair's crazy. I'm going to try not to obsess over it. Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you. Jesus loves us all so much. Yes, we are all loved. We are all worthy. We all are capable of manifesting anything we want. We are all worthy of absolutely anything we want. That is true. Okay, let me look through. I'm going to pull trying to figure out which deck of cards I'd like to start with, just to pull like general readings to see what's going on. Just get you guys the messages. Just keep in mind these are general. And if you get a personal reading here on the live, the $25 ones, it'll be much more, like, it'll be longer and more in depth, and I'll pull more cards. Welcome everyone. How's everyone doing? Is everyone's week so good? Going well? My hair looks amazing. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I usually wear it down, I think, on these lives. I don't think I've ever worn it up. But I wanted to hop on live, and I was like, I'm not going to get distracted and procrastinate because of my hair. Like, I'd rather just get on and connect with you guys and have a good conversation and hang out, you know? So great. Home after 5 months in the hospital. Wow. Well, I am glad you are home now. I'm glad you're doing well. And I stand in agreement with you for rapid and complete healing for whatever you're in the hospital for. Okay, guys, I'm going to pull just general energies for all of you tuned in here. Again, if you want to catch this replay or replays of past lives, that's, if you go to the link in my bio, it's the YouTube. Okay, do the work is the one that came out, and it says, it is not enough to dream or pray. You also have to take the positive action steps that you are being divinely guided to take. Consistently working on your priorities will make them flourish like a lush flower garden. You know, this is very interesting because I did a video the other day about one of the sneaky subconscious ways we block ourselves, one of the subconscious fears we have that stops us from taking action, and that can be the fear of disappointment. Okay, so hear me out. If we deep down, and this can have to do with your patterning, your conditioning that you received growing up, this could have to do with like other maybe traumatic life experiences or disappointments in life, you know, if you have this wounding around being disappointed, if deep down you have a subconscious belief that, well, I'm going to fail, or I'm going to be disappointed with the results, or I'm not going to get the results I want, or I'm going to put in a lot of work and feel like I wasted my time, then that can block you from taking the action steps that you're being called to take, okay? Now, if you follow me, I talk a lot about working smarter, not harder. I'm never going to tell you to hustle and action your way there, because it really is pointless to take a lot of action if deep down you don't have your mindset right? If you have a lot of subconscious blocks and opposing stories, you're going to find if you're taking a lot of action that it's very depleting. You're having to hustle a lot and maybe getting slim to no results, all right? So you want to think of these two things like balancing the mental with the physical, meaning you want to get your mindset right, but you also want to take the aligned actions, okay? These two together are like the magic formula for success. Now, the thing is, so instead of beating up on yourself when you're not taking action, taking a look like, okay, what's going on a deeper level here? What emotionally, subconsciously is going on that's making me not want to take action? And if you can pinpoint the root of that, which by the way, guys, this is what I'm good at helping you do. This is one of my gifts. So I offer one-on-one sessions too. But if you can pinpoint what's going on beneath the surface, the root cause, then you can start to shift that. And then you'll find that taking action comes a lot more easily. Now, of course, there is a layer to this of needing to just put in the work and be consistent, right? But it shouldn't ever feel like super hard work. It should feel like maybe the next logical step, like, oh, a practical little thing that I can do every day. And then remember, it's going to compound effect, right? So this is another thing that how people, what's my sign? I'm a Scorpio. This is another way that people block themselves, is sometimes they look at where they are, where they think they are, and where they want to be. And they're like, that distance is so huge. It's like the distance of the Grand Canyon. Why even bother? It's going to be so difficult. It's going to take a miracle. I'm going to have to make this big grand gesture, when really oftentimes that's not how it happens. I mean, it can happen like that for sure. I've experienced that in my life. I've seen it happen in other people's lives. But what we tend to overlook is the small daily consistent actions we can take that would over time compound and get us there actually a lot more quickly and easily than we realize, right? So sometimes the magic is in these little micro adjustments that we make, whether it's each time fear comes up, you're shifting and neutralizing that to love, or each time you are tempted to not eat the healthy food, or not make the exercise, or not do that thing for your business, or whatever it is that you feel called to do. Each time you're tempted not to do that, you say, okay, let me just push through a little. Let me show up for myself and be consistent. Even if I don't feel like it, let me just at least take this little action. Those add up over time. And what happens is when we're making these micro shifts, it actually is a lot easier to get results, because what happens is it's just a tiny little thing. It's easier to motivate yourself to do a little thing than like a huge thing, right? So if you just looked at it like, what little step could I take today to get closer to my goal, to work on embodying the person who I want to be, right? So if you want to be lean and fit, if you want to be healthy, if you want to be in a loving relationship, if you want to be successful in your career, like what would the next little step be? And oftentimes we overlook this because we think, oh, well, that's not big enough, because you're so focused on like how far away you are from it. But if you would just focus on being where you are and knowing that your success is inevitable as long as you keep going, and trusting that these little things add up, you'd get there so much faster. It's kind of like, if you're on I think like body would be a good example for this. If you're on a weight loss journey, oftentimes you're losing the weight very gradually. Or if you're like working on toning up, you're making very gradual changes that you don't always notice. And then all of a sudden one day you look in the mirror and you're like, holy crap, how did this happen? Or you go to try on those pair of jeans and you're like, these fit amazing. Like, what happened? It was all that little stuff that was adding up. I see this in law of assumption a lot, where clients will be like, it's not working. Maybe they're doing visualization. Maybe they're affirming. Maybe they're working on their self-concept, whatever inner work they're doing, whatever mindset work they're doing. And they're like, well, nothing's changed in the 3D. And it's like, yeah, but you don't know what changes are going on behind the surface, behind the scenes, underneath the surface, especially when we're doing mindset work. When you're understanding this from an energetic, a spiritual perspective, you have to understand that the physical is the last thing to manifest. Things shift energetically. Things don't show up physically until they've been held energetically long enough. So that's why you always have to persist, right? So whatever action you're being called to take, you're being called to be consistent with it, okay? So back to the mindset thing. Like sometimes you're like, okay, I'm working on my money mindset, but nothing has changed. And it's like, okay, keep working, because your goal is to embody the person who now has a new experience with money. And the new experience with money can't happen outside until you shift who you're being and what you believe you get to have and what you're worthy of and who you feel you are in relation to money first. Like that has to shift first. So this is why I teach so much of the mindset and the inner work. But yeah, sometimes your action step will be a physical action step too. So if you're feeling, with this do the work card, whatever you're feeling resistance around, and I know what the next step is. And if you really are unsure, just ask yourself, what's my next step? But oftentimes we know, we've already gotten that intuitive nudge, that guidance, that download, but we ignore it because either we have a lot of resistance to it, which is where you'd want to go and look at the emotional root cause of why you're resisting this, so you can shift it energetically and naturally feel more inclined to take the action and make the shifts. Or you can look at why are you ignoring it? Are you overlooking it because it seems too small and you don't see how it's going to happen? Okay, so I want to remind you, with manifestation, the when and the how is not your job. Your job is to just keep doing your part, stay diligent, be consistent, persist, live in the end. You choose who you want to be, and then your only job is to keep aligning with that. And part of how we align with that is by thinking and feeling and behaving and I think I said thinking like the person, like that version of you, right? So the version of you who is rich and wealthy and financially free thinks, feels, and identifies and likely acts in a very different way than the version of you who's struggling with money. You feel me? So your job is to get clear on who you want to be and then work on doing your part. And when you're not sure what your part is, just ask. Say, however you connect, inner being, soul, God, universe, however you connect. Show me my next steps. I'm willing to do my part. You can also say, I'm willing to see this differently, because a lot of what the shift is going to be is the way you view it, your perception, your mindset. And with that will come different actions. But you never want to try to force and hustle and struggle your way there. If it feels like a lot of effort, it's either going in the wrong direction or you haven't shifted your mindset first. Okay, so that's why I really work on mindset. Okay, let me read through, see if I missed any comments. Oh, there's just a bunch of comments. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna pull another card from another deck to accompany this, and this is just general, guys. Let me know. Feel free to let me know in the comments if this is resonating with you guys. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, you can comment down there too. And then if you want me to read for you specifically with a specific question, area, topic, we can talk about relationships, love, health, body, finances, career, self-love, self-concept, manifestation, any of that. It's just $25. You can just go to the link in my bio and click on the TikTok live reading and I'll read for you here, okay? Emotions are running high, super moon, okay? So yeah, what I'm getting, and look how both these cards are purple too. Purple for me represents like your crown chakra. So what I'm getting is like you are getting, or like your higher self, the infinite intelligence within you is trying to get the messages to you. Like you're so supported, okay? We just can get in our way sometimes when we emotionally spiral, like we emotionally react to things. The other thing I'm getting with this is when I was talking about like why you may not be taking the action is the emotional root cause. So really learning how to master your emotions, how to remain calm when you're feeling triggered, right? Regulating your nervous system, managing your emotions. If you can embody a state of peace and work through whatever emotions are coming up, and work on transmuting that energy. If you can be in a state of peace, you're going to much more clearly be able to see and hear the next practical step for you to take, okay? And I want to remind you that sometimes your specific step may be rest. It may be work on building your faith and trust. It may be doing manifestation techniques such as visualizing or affirming or scripting, you know, getting clear on who you want to be and aligning with that internally. It may be physical action steps, right? So working through your emotions is what's going to help you. If you do that together with taking whatever action you're guided to take, that's the winning formula here for manifesting what you want. I see a lot of people, so, you know, I'm a manifestation coach. I teach law of assumption. There's another card down here I'm going to read for you guys. And I see a lot of people sometimes resisting doing what they need to do to embody who they want to be because they kind of feel powerless. Like they just are waiting for the heavens to part and like trumpets to sound and a big fat miracle to happen. And I'm all for magic. I'm all for miracles. But it's like when you're in that space, it's like you're not recognizing your power. You're not recognizing that you're actually the one generating this all. Or if it helps you to think of it this way, like you're co-creating with the universe or with your spirit, with your soul, with your inner being, okay? So next card, another purple card. Oh my God, okay, we have two. And it's amazing because it's like new moon eclipse, which we actually have coming up on Cinco de Mayo, right? And then, so it says a new start is coming, new moon, and then expect powerful change, okay? Guys, I'm covered in goosebumps. Thank you for all the love. I'm glad this is resonating. Feel free to add any comments below, guys. But yeah, as you do this, if you can use this time to really work on mastering your emotions, temper, slow down if you need to, slow down to speed up, right? Really work on embodying a state of peace. When you feel uncomfortable, just stay calm and breathe through it. Remind yourself you're right where you need to be. Everything's working out for you. And then be open to the guidance that you receive, whether that's to look at things differently, whether that's to try something new, whether that's to do something even if you're a little afraid, or whether that's to just be consistent with the little steps. Do that. And as you do that, and also as you ask for guidance, as you ask for assistance, as you decide what you want and work on building your faith and trusting and knowing that it's done. Whatever you ask for, it's done. Like it's going to happen. Then this is what allows this change to come in. This is what clears the way for a new beginning. So the other thing I'm hearing with this is like, as you're looking through these emotions running high, what emotions are you ready to release? So this would be, if you want to jot this down, if you guys like to journal or like do some introspection, you could ask yourself some questions like, what am I no longer available for, right? Are you ready, for example, to totally release people-pleasing ways? Are you ready to release self-sabotaging behaviors? Are you ready to move beyond scarcity thinking? Like, what paradigm, what way of being, what version of yourself are you no longer available for? And get really clear on that and look at what do you need to release in order to allow in the shift that's here for you. It's always here for you, but I think it's really exciting that it said the new moon eclipse here because, well, I think it's a full moon eclipse on the 5th, but regardless, you know, and then new moon came out. Like, there's changes wanting to happen for you. You just want to, if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks, be a cooperative component, meaning you don't want to get in your own way. So a lot of people get in their own way because they decide what they want and then they immediately look at the evidence around them, or their current circumstances, their past experiences, and are like, I can't have that. I can't do that. Hey, Jonathan. And or you start thinking of all the reasons why it's going to be difficult, or all the reasons why you can't have it, or you want this thing and then fear comes in and you freeze, or you revert back, or you say, oh, that's too much. I'm not allowed to want that. Who am I to decide I get to have that? Am I even worthy of it? It's going to be too difficult. It's going to take too long. I don't have what it takes. You know, you just come up with all these objections. And so the faster you can release the objections, the faster you can release the resistance. And you don't even have to necessarily know how to work through it. Just when it comes up, call it out for what it is. Oh, this is just fear. This is just my old mindset. And just stay calm and it will pass. And hold firm to the what I want is mine. And in the meantime, focus on you, take care of yourself. Whatever actions you're guided to take them. But again, like I said earlier, you're going to hear those actions more clearly if you're in a state of peace. And I do want to say that even if you didn't take any action, if the only action you did was the inner work instead of outer action, if the only action you took was inner work of just maintaining a state of peace, the old programming would fall away really quickly and you would see things very clearly and you would realize your manifestation. Okay? It would come to you. But a lot of people don't have that level of faith, so that's why we take action steps. But also, like, we're here to have a human experience, so why not do your part, right? Like, really all that's required is a mindset shift. But I will tell you from my own personal experience and what I've seen with clients is that when you shift your perspective, when you really embody the state of the wish fulfilled, meaning like you really have fully claimed that new version of yourself and you're like, that's who I am now because that's who I'm choosing to be, like you naturally act a different way. Right? So let me think, I'll scroll through in the comments here in a second. But real quick, let me think of an example to help really lock that in for you. So let's say, I'm just going to use like an example of dating. Let's say you're a woman or let's not even get into that. Let's say you have a pattern of dating really emotionally unavailable people, right? And you've identified that you want someone who's emotionally available, who wants commitment. But because you have had this track like this, sorry, the words are kind of escaping me. Since your track record, your past experience has been, oh, I'm not wanted, you know, because you've been interested in emotionally unavailable people. No one commits to me. No one shows up. Like, you're not going to really be an energetic match to someone who would show up for you, right? So once you decide, okay, you know what, I get to be claimed, I get to be committed to, I get to be in a healthy relationship where I'm loved and adored, you're naturally going to think and feel and operate differently. So you're naturally going to be like working on your self-concept, like, okay, I'm amazing. Emotionally available people are sexy. People who are not emotionally available are no longer appeal to me. Like, you're going to think and feel differently and you're not going to respond in the same way. So let's say the same little F-boy comes around, it's not going to phase you like it used to. You know, you're going to naturally be attracted to something else. You're probably going to naturally present yourself in a better light instead of like, you know, maybe playing small and acting like, oh, I don't want commitment, I'm fine with just like being a side chick or like friends with benefits. You're actually going to present yourself as like, no, I'm wife material. Like I'm the one who's committed to, like, you taking yourself more seriously. Do you see what I mean? Let me know if that made sense. If not, I can try to explain it better. How to heal from vagus nerve inflammation when it feels out of control. Hi, Cheryl. Okay. So yeah, for anyone new, guys, I healed my body. I used to struggle with acne and I had autoimmune. This, I will tell you now, I know I have a very unique stance on this. And just to clarify, guys, I'm not a doctor or medical professional, but my understanding of the energetics between like of how disease and chronic conditions show up in the body is it always starts energetically first, emotionally. Okay, so for me, what healed my body was me working through my emotions. I noticed that I was in a constant state of anxiety, and this is very common, like especially when you become aware that you have an issue in your body, it's like hard to not hyper focus on it, right? And get stressed out about it. But I guarantee if you've been stressed out about it, if you've been really trying to fix it, you probably find that you're like chasing your tail and it's like getting worse, right? And it feels more and more out of control. So in these situations, what's best to do is just practice surrendering, practice releasing control, and work on forming some good beliefs that support healing, such as my body is a healing machine. It is normal and natural for my body to be in a constant state of healing. And since that's normal and natural, I don't need to do anything other than create the environment that would allow my body to do its job. Okay? So relaxing, not thinking about the problem, right? When something's such a pressing issue, when it's so in our face, and like, you know, I typically see this in clients with like, you know, if it's like money issues or like health issues, it's like so hard to ignore that, right? Because it's like, it's a part of your daily life, right? But if you could just shift your focus away from trying to fix it and just focus on whatever's going right, or focus on feeling good for long enough, you energetically create space for it to heal itself, right? So, and of course, take any action you're guided to take. So if there's something you can do that is physically giving you some relief, then do that. You know, I just know for me along my journey, I was trying all the things and it just was like feeling so out of control and I wasn't getting any results. And I was like, I'm so tired of trying. And I just kind of gave up. And then I felt called to my next steps where, you know, the guidance I received was to just work through some of my emotional stuff. So for me personally, that was like working on healing a lot of like dynamics between me and my mother, like really learning how to mother myself. Because, you know, I had a really damaging experience growing up with my mother. And so, you know, there were a lot of emotional things that I worked through. So I think for me, it was like a combination of one, assuming that my body's natural state was to heal and that it could and would heal. I worked on my self-worth, my emotions, just like being at peace. I worked on my anxiety, like regulating my nervous system. I then also like would just go do things that felt good. So even though my body was in pain, I realized that it felt really good to go for long walks out in nature. So I would just put my AirPods in and like go and listen to a positive podcast or YouTube video, or just listen to like music that made me happy. And I would walk until I didn't feel any pain. And it was funny because it was like, that's when I really started understanding like the mind-body connection, that, oh my gosh, once I got distracted enough, the pain went away. And I was like, well, that's crazy, because I was in like crippling pain 20 minutes ago. Like, how is that possible? And so I really began to understand that like me hyper-focusing on it by trying to fix it was actually acting as an energetic block, right? It's kind of like we don't trust that our body could just heal. Now, again, guys, I'm not a medical professional. Like, if you really feel like you need medical attention, of course, do that. And I'm never going to tell you to not follow a diet or not take supplements or not do therapies if that's working for you. Always do what feels right to you, you know? But there is something to be said for like surrendering and letting go and trusting. And ultimately, you know, I teach a lot of assumptions. So whatever you believe to be true is what's going to become true. So how can you form some positive assumptions about your body? You know, you have trillions of cells in your body that all somehow know how to operate, right? Like nature operates. Like there is an infinite intelligence. There is an organizing force in the universe. And however you connect to that, whether or not you believe it comes from inside of you or outside of you, just building your faith and trust in that can be really helpful when your problems are feeling really big and overwhelming. You know, just understand that as you release stress, your body naturally heals. Let me know if that resonated. I'm doing well, Jonathan. Thanks. How are you? Does anyone want me to do a reading for them, by the way, while we're here? If you guys want one, they're $25. And it's just at the link in my bio. And then I get a notification when you've paid, and I'll read for you here on whatever you want. The only thing I don't do is like yes, no questions, because I don't find that to be empowering. I want to help you create what you want, you know? Or if you guys have any questions about manifestation, law of assumption, put them in the comments below. Hi, Mello. How are you? How do you work on self-concept? Well, it's really paying attention to your self-talk and the stories you're telling, okay? So, you know, I typically find that you have like an overall concept of yourself, of just like who you are as a person, but also it can vary based off of like different areas of life, right? So you may have one self-concept in work and one in love and one in like your body, right? Like different things like that. Oh, I'm seeing more things. Yeah. Okay, by the way, guys, I do have a self-concept guide if you want to go deeper into it. It's the link on my page. It's under self-paced programs. There's my self-concept guide if you want like step by step. But Melo's saying, I get anxious when I'm affirming I am chosen. Okay, so what this means is that when you're feeling anxious with a statement, like I'm assuming you want I am chosen to be true for you, right? But if you're feeling anxious, it means that there's a lot of resistance to that. So what I would do is soften it. If it doesn't feel believable for you, go, I am worthy of being chosen. So like, how can you soften it? You know? Or I'm ready to now be chosen. I'm choosing to now be someone who's chosen. Would something like that feel better, right? So just softening it a bit and then work your way up. You know, it's a lot of people Jonathan says, I'm doing good, just focusing on self-concept and living in the end. Awesome. That's really all you need to do, honestly. Any actions you need to take, if you even believe that, will naturally come up as you work on those things. Okay. So, Mello, would any of those like softer statements help you? You just want to like release resistance. So, okay, when living in the end, a lot of people think like, well, how do I feel like I'm a millionaire when I'm like $50,000 in debt, right? Like, it's not that you're denying what's going on in front of you. Like this, yeah, that's where you're currently at. And that's only because of past thinking, and that's fine. Like, it is what it is. I'm not telling you to be like delusional and like say that that's not happening. It's more so knowing, okay, that's happening because that's been my experience, because of what I've believed in the past is possible for me, how I've viewed myself in the past. And I'm now intentionally choosing to steer my energy and my mind in another direction because I want to not keep recreating more of this, right? I don't want more debt. I want financial freedom. In fact, I want to be a multimillionaire. So, you know, to be like, I am a multimillionaire right now may feel good for some people. And if it does, do that. And when it feels good, do it. But if it doesn't feel good at all, or if sometimes it's not feeling good, just go softer, go more general, you know? You can be like, I know for a fact that I'm meant to be a multimillionaire. I know it's inevitable that I'm going to be a multimillionaire. Like, that's just like who I know for sure it's going to happen. I know for sure I'm going to be this person, right? Or you can go really, really general, depending on how much resistance you have, and just be like, I'm choosing to let money be easier. I'm willing to see money differently. I'm open to a new experience with money. What if making money could be easy? What if releasing debt could be easy? You know, you can just go in more general and softer. It's really about meeting yourself where you're at. I help you a lot with this in my self-paced program, Manifestation Mastery. It's like a lot of video modules and like actual exercises for like regulating your nervous system. I help you with techniques. I help you with your self-talk, your self-concept. I help you like really know when to affirm and intend, and then when to lean back and go more general. For me, I feel like that's kind of balancing like it's an internal balance, and just got to find your flow and what feels good. However, I know people who manifest just by being very general all the time, just affirming things like, I'm lucky, everything's working out for me, everything's perfect, I don't have to control this, I don't have to understand it, I'm certain that what I want is mine. I know that I'm worthy of an amazing life, right? So you can be like that. It's really whatever feels best for you. And guys, this is something that I can help you with in like either one-on-one sessions or email coaching. Like if you want to see what's at the root, why are you having a hard time with this? If you want help coming up with affirmations that feel good, or like finding your technique, like to help you live in the end. But yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Mello. I'm glad. Yeah, give it a try and let me know how it goes. Sorry, I just want to mute this person who's saying like just dumb stuff. Okay, all good. Okay, that's taken care of. What was I saying? I got distracted. There was some weird shit going on. Okay. Okay. Jonathan says, Mello, I would feel the same thing, but I focus on calming myself and I kept persisting with it. Yeah, really good. Calming yourself is so important. This is what I was going to say. The main thing you want, Mello, like overall, you want to be in a state of peace, okay? So yeah, don't worry about needing to force affirmations if they don't feel good. Don't think that you won't get your manifestation if you're not affirming, okay? Because every thought is an affirmation, right? So if you could just go with everything's working out for me and know that I'm going to get what I want. You can say things like, I'm only available for this or something better. Like, you know, go with that. And then, yeah, like you said, like working with EFT, that's great too, because that's going to help you get in touch with what are some of these limiting beliefs and intentionally let them go. But I also want you to know that you can just relax and work on calming your nervous system, and you'll find a lot of these limiting beliefs just naturally leave. Okay. So you can approach it two different ways, whatever works for you. Bree, I just saw your payment. I'm going to read for you in just a minute. Let me know what type of reading you want. Welcome everyone new. But you know, I like to do a combination of both. I'll find that when I can think of my manifestation, like what I'm creating in a really positive way, it feels good to affirm positively for it and get really excited, right? And I like to build up that momentum and kind of milk it while I'm on that vibe. And then I like to take a step back and kind of give it some breathing room. And that's where I'll focus on my self-care. I'll work on like maybe meditating. And the way I meditate, guys, is I put headphones on with like binaural beats and I just lay down flat and just let myself fall asleep. Like for me, that's meditation. That just, I wake up and I feel like I had a 90-minute massage. I feel so good and amazing. If I had any tension in my body, it goes away. Like that for me is what does it. But you know, maybe you enjoy like just a nice long walk or bath or go work out at the gym, you know, just do whatever you want. Focus on you, focus on what's right in front of you. And anytime your manifestation comes up, you know, just affirm like, oh, like, yeah, that's getting taken care of. It's mine. I know it's mine. Where do these weird people come from? Okay. All right, Bree, let's get into your love reading. Mellow, you'll get there, but I'm in a spot where I feel good about affirming now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know, one last thing, Bree, I'm getting my love deck out for you, a couple of decks for you. One thing too is like there is a time and a place to kind of like, well, and this is up to you if you want to do it, but I found for me that being consistent with my affirmations, even when I felt resistance, like there was a point where I listened to a lot of affirmation tracks because my mind was so used to going to like worst case scenario and not trusting, right? So it was like, it kind of felt like good for me to just really like hone down and do that. But now I'm at a space where like I don't really need to convince myself anymore. I'm just like, I know that everything's working out for me, and I know that I don't have to try to force things, that like I'll know my next steps, you know. But it does take practice. You just you gotta meet yourself wherever you're at and be open. Okay, Bree, let's read for you for love. Thanks for purchasing a reading. I'm happy to read for you. And anyone else who wants one, feel free. The link for the payment is in my bio. Bree, do you have a specific question about love or just like what you need to know? Thank you guys for being nice to each other in the comments. I love seeing you guys support each other. Just what you need to know. Okay. And by the way, guys, I go live at least once a week. So if you're not following me yet, I invite you to do so. That way we're connected and you'll get notified. And I put content out each week. Okay, very soon. So it says, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Okay, now let's see. That was at the bottom of the deck. And then what I pulled was codependency. It says addictions are affecting your romantic life. Okay, so what I'm getting, and let me know, Brie, if this resonates or if you want me to clarify like this specifically, but I'm just going to pull a bunch more cards to get more clarity like in general on this. But what I'm getting is that whatever's been feeling out of balance in your love life, whether you feel like, you know, it's unrequited on one side or whatever, or if you're feeling like you're clinging, trying to make it happen, or you're feeling like they're not coming towards you, or whatever dynamic feels out of balance, you're being called to just get clear on what you want. Okay, so honestly, guys, you can do this with anything you're trying to manifest. Like, you can use the contrasting experiences to get clear on what you want. Meaning, when you see a dynamic that you're like, I am not available for this anymore, or you don't want to keep experiencing something, you can get clear on like, what's the opposite? Okay, so if I'm not feeling pursued, or I'm not feeling loved and chosen and claimed in the case of love, I'm not sure the details specifically on this for you, Brie, but if you're having that experience of I'm not chosen, I'm not shown up for, I'm not committed to, well, what would you want? You likely want the opposite. You want to be claimed, you want to be chosen, you want to be committed to. You're like, my partner's always showing up for me. I feel so loved and adored, right? And cherished. Like, you can get clear on what that is, okay? So I'm getting that self-concept work in love is going to be really, really powerful for you. And sometimes to just say, I'm chosen, I'm loved, I'm claimed, I'm adored, can feel really not true if that hasn't been our experience. So you might want to look at, well, why don't you feel worthy of that? And then work through those fears, right? So you could, maybe there's something going on in your self-concept, or because it's something that happened in childhood, or maybe in another relationship where you felt unworthy, or you felt like it's not safe to love, or like, I'm always disappointed, or whatever, you know, like take a look at some of those fears and just know that you have the power to shift them. Oftentimes just becoming aware of it is enough for you to look at it and just be like, well, that's not true. Obviously, like, everyone's worthy of love. Just because I've experienced this in the past doesn't mean this needs to continue to be my experience moving forward, you know? Bree says, just what I needed to know. Good. Perfect. I'm going to pull some more cards for you though, okay? I just saw the break free card. So yeah, I'm really getting for you, this is about breaking yourself free of the limits that have held you back in the past. And it just has to do with how you view yourself, okay? So I want you to work on really starting to question your beliefs, okay? Like, look at these shitty stories you're telling yourself about what you get to have and ask yourself, is this the ultimate truth? Is this how I want to experience life? And if the answer is no, get clear on what you want to experience instead. Yeah? Let me pull some more. Hang on. It was like too many cards. Let me just have one. Empowerment. Okay, yeah, this is about like owning your power to claim a new experience for yourself, like owning your power to decide how your life gets to go, okay? So it says you're more powerful than you realize. It is safe for you to be powerful. I want to read this to you out of the book so you can get more details and info, okay? But what I'm getting before I read it is oftentimes when we struggle with self-worth, it's because we've been conditioned to view ourselves as really small, right? We've been conditioned to always give and never receive, or think that it's wrong to want more for ourselves, or it's wrong to be confident, right? Or we're used to putting other people on the pedestal and us being down here. And so it can feel, when we're working on building up our self-concept and learning to view and think of ourselves and feel about ourselves in a new way, it can feel kind of triggering because on some level that doesn't feel safe, right? But it's just like working through those fears And just affirming like, no, I am worthy of what I want. I am deserving of love. And like, even if you have to tell yourself something like, well, other people are worthy of it, so why wouldn't I be too? You know, like question these beliefs, like, you know, why do you feel that, oh, my hair's so crazy today. Like, why do you feel that other people get to have it and you don't, you know, like it doesn't make sense. But, you know, just questioning those. You're saying this is really resonating with you. Yay. I'm glad. Okay. So it says this card confirms that your inner power wants to surface. You can trust yourself that you will use this power appropriately because you are incapable of abusing it. Your true friends and the people who really love you will be happy that you have taken your power back. Empowerment means that you are no longer willing to see yourself as a victim in any way. It means letting go of all the blame with respect to other people, past conditions, or present circumstances. Know that you can be powerful and gentle simultaneously and still be very effective. Affirm frequently, it is safe for me to be powerful. I accept my God-given power to be used in the service of light and love. And then sit back and enjoy the shifts that you see around you. Instead of worrying what others may think about you, use your power to make the world a better place. May you never feel self-conscious again. Okay, so you could kind of tweak those affirmations to fit whatever you feel like you're struggling with, right? So you could tweak this and say, it is safe for me to love and be loved. Relationships are safe. It's safe. Intimacy is safe. It's safe for me to be seen. It's safe for me to be vulnerable. It's safe for me to receive my desires, you know, something like that. Let me know if that resonated. Thank you so much for getting a reading, Bree. It's nice to see you on here again. Hello to everyone else hopping on. Guys, we're doing $25 just live readings here. If you guys like want a more in-depth pre-recorded reading that's like private and I email it to you, those are also available under the Work With Me tab. You're so welcome, Bree. I'm glad it was helpful. You're doing great. Just keep going. Keep working on your self-concept. Be gentle with yourself. Know that these things can take a little bit of time, but it's worth it, right? Like the time's going to pass either way. You may as well just start investing in like building yourself up so that you can get what you want, because you know, like the ways we've learned to view ourselves didn't just happen overnight, right? Like they're because of things we were repeatedly told, or things that we repeatedly experienced or saw around us. And so that kind of shapes the way we saw the world. So just stay consistent with yourself. If you're starting your affirmations, your self-concept, and you're not seeing results right away, or you're having a hard time believing them, it's okay. Like that's normal. You're kind of like your old mindset's fighting off with your new one. The idea is to, if this is your old mindset and this is your new one, you want to keep filling up and feeding your new mindset until that takes over. And this one will eventually fade out, you know? And when you have unfavorable thoughts or emotions or circumstances, just try not to freak out about it. Just remind yourself, you know what? Like I'm moving towards my manifestation. What I want is mine. It's all unfolding perfectly. I'm safe. You know, any type of self-soothing things, like I'm worthy of what I want, you know, like reassure yourself of that. Guys, I'm a little bit behind. I always say this. It takes me a little while sometimes to get all of my lives uploaded to my YouTube because it just takes a long time to upload them. And like sometimes I have little issues, but fingers crossed because it has been getting better. But you can watch all in a little while, get this live recording uploaded, and you can go back and watch the other past lives if you want. All the ways to connect with me or work with me, or my self-concept guide or my self-paced programs are all linked at the top of my page, just so everyone knows. I don't know how long I've been on here. I'm available to do like another reading or two if anyone wants one, or if you guys have questions about manifestation, law of assumption, self-concept, any of these things we've been talking about, feel free, just drop them in the comments below. And we'll talk about it. I'm just going to take a little break here. Hang on. How's everyone doing? Is everyone having a good week? Say hi if you want. What do I think of sleep affirmation tapes? I love them. Hang on, I'll talk about this more. Let me just respond to this text real quick. Okay, sleep affirmation tracks are great. I used sleep affirmation tracks for probably like at least a solid year. And because I had a lot of overhauling to do with my self-concept. Okay, I'm someone who experienced a lot of trauma growing up, so, which like many of us did, you know, and trauma is subjective, so, you know, don't, sorry, this comment, do you believe Jesus is our Lord and Savior? Don't block me, please. I don't have energy to do that. Okay, they really helped me. So what I want to say, where I've seen clients kind of not make the progress they want to make when it comes to sleep affirmation tracks, is they try too hard to go into specific with things. Okay, this is just my opinion. If this feels limiting to you, you know, don't accept it. Of course, you have the ability to accept or reject any information. But as a general rule of thumb, what I've experienced with myself and what I've seen with clients is that when you're trying to jump from like, if you're in a situation that's really bad and you're trying to jump to the complete opposite, it can cause a lot of resistance. Do I think it can work with sleep affirmation tracks? Yeah, of course. Like, I think anything's possible. However, I've seen clients get better results with going a little more general with them at first, right? This person is like, please don't block me. I'm not going to block you, but I'm going to mute you because you're spamming this and I'm trying to focus. Okay. So basically, for anyone who doesn't know about sleep affirmation tapes, what they are is essentially, you know, it's affirmation tracks that you play at night while you sleep. You can also use subliminals, by the way, but I would make sure that's like a good subliminal and like not too complicated. Like, your brain is unlimited, but I find good results with like just short, repetitive ones. Okay, the idea here is that we've picked up programming from the ages of 0 to 7. Our subconscious is being formed. Like, our concept of ourself, the way we view ourselves, the way we view others and life, and how life is for us, based off of the messages we received or things that happened, and then the way we interpreted them as a child, right? So and that happened over time. Like, things happened repeatedly, things were said repeatedly, and we took those things as fact. And that's, our brain has formed neural pathways to solidify those beliefs, and whatever we believe to be true is how we experience life. That's what shows up. So the idea is to go in and reprogram your mind consciously. Now, where a lot of people have issues with affirming is like one of the girls was saying on here earlier in this chat, you know, like, I'm affirming this, but it's causing a lot of anxiety. So consciously, you have to understand, your conscious mind is like 5% maximum. The majority of your mind is subconscious, meaning it's unconscious, right? You're not aware of it. So you can consciously decide, I want to say, I am wealthy, I'm abundant, I'm successful, I'm lean and fit, I'm loved and chosen, I'm living my best life. But if that is like, if your experience has been the complete opposite of that, then 95% is really going to resist that, and it's going to cause anxiety. It's going to cause like this friction, because this new and old mindset's fighting off. And oftentimes what happens is the 95% wins out, because it's just like, you just can't believe it, right? So the idea with sleep affirmation tracks is, when you're sleeping, your conscious mind is asleep, meaning there's nothing in the way to resist the new programming. So people often find that they have better results accepting the new affirmations, accepting the new story, the new self-concept, the new identity, if they work with the subconscious at night, okay? But another way you can work with your subconscious, not just at night, is listening to subliminals, right? But you also can bypass all of this if you're someone who this doesn't sound fun and exciting for. I love all the mindset stuff, so I do this and I teach this and I really like it. But if that feels like a lot of resistance, or if you're at a point in your journey where you're feeling called to just let it be easier, or if you just aren't super into that, you can bypass all of this by just embodying a state of peace, okay? So regulating your nervous system, going really general with your affirmations, like, everything's working out for me. You know, maybe you write down what you want, get really clear and specific, and then just let it go. You've probably heard of like the set it and forget it method. This is why it works, because oftentimes we want things that are big and crazy and seem impossible, and our logical mind gets in the way, either trying to figure it out, either trying to control and manipulate and change things and make it happen, or telling us, well, it's not possible. But the fact is, anything's possible. But you just have the idea is you have to align with what you want. So you can do it like I do it, a combination of releasing the thoughts that oppose it, right? Releasing the old mindset and instilling a new mindset, and relaxing and being present and building your faith muscle, right? Or you could do it just one way or the other. I know people who just robotically affirm, and that works for them. You just drill in the new until that takes over. Or you could practice just being relaxed, just releasing resistance, just feeling good. You can set it, forget. There's so many ways you can do it. I love this stuff. It's fun and exciting for me. So I like to kind of attack it from all levels, I shouldn't say attack it. That sounds like really harsh. Just work on it from all levels, all angles. That feels good for me. It's fun. It's what I do. But, I don't want you guys to feel limited by any of the things you hear people saying. Okay, hang on. Let me read. But yeah, and just know when you use sleep affirmation tracks, if you're starting a new one or it's your first time, you may feel some resistance. You may have some nightmares and stuff, and that's okay. But you also could try a more gentle, general one too. Yeah. I have a couple, actually. If you guys go, I think on my Linktree, I have my subliminal channel linked. It's in there somewhere. I have a regular YouTube channel, but then I have a subliminal channel. But on my regular YouTube channel, I've posted some affirmation tracks too. So there should be a link. Actually if you go to my YouTube, sorry guys, this is complicated. If you go to my YouTube, which is linked to at the link in my bio, in the info section of all of my videos, it has a link to my subliminal channel. I'm sorry that's more complicated. I just tried to clean up my Linktree because it had too many links on it. It was too messy. But yeah, so I have some that you can just loop and play overnight. I don't make 8-hour ones because it's not fun for me to make them that long and upload them. But you can just find a little one that you like and just loop it and listen to it overnight with or without headphones, whatever you want. But yeah, those are my thoughts on sleep affirmation tracks, tapes. Hazel, how should I know if a guy's interested in me at the gym? I don't know. I would just work on your self-concept. If you want someone to be interested in you, affirm that everyone you're interested in wants you even more, because you're amazing and you're hot and you're sexy and you're the whole package. I would affirm something like that. Work on your magnetic energy, right? Typically someone in their feminine energy wants to be pursued, right? So I'm assuming you don't want to go approach that person, right? Okay, am I a manifestation girly? Yes, I am. How would I journal moving to New York? I would just script down so I like journaling in the sense of I like just scripting or bullet points. You could live in the end. I would live in the end. I would think what's your end goal, right? Do you want to be living in New York? Okay, cool. I would just write out what does the average day in your life look like? Do you have an apartment? Do you have a home? Do you have roommates? Do you live alone? Live with a partner? What is it? What's your morning routine? Do you get up and have your coffee, make your tea? Or do you go out in the busy streets in New York and get in line at a cafe? What do you do? Really get into involve all your senses, really picture it. Or you could just write down what you want and then let go and know it's done and that it's going to happen. There's different ways you can do this. Rebecca, hey. Hi, Rebecca. When did you consciously start your manifesting journey? Oh, that's a good question. I was just talking about this with someone the other day. Gosh, it was 8 or 10 years ago. Probably more no, it was 10 years ago now. Flies by. I had a friend introduce me to The Secret. And I didn't grasp it fully at the time, but that's kind of what started it for me. And then a year later, I got really into personal development, just because of like certain things that were going on in my life. And I read a couple books and was like, oh, wow, like I want to work on myself. I want to be better. I want to be my best version. I want to create different circumstances. I want to attract better into my life. I just want to be better. And so, yeah, it started then. Law of assumption a couple years ago. And that's where I really started getting like more results and manifesting more of the big things and like consistent changes. Yeah. How do I fully believe in a manifestation? There's always a little bit of doubt in the back of my mind. It is okay to doubt, okay? You do not need to have perfect faith. Whenever I like think of this, I'm reminded of that verse in the Bible, and I'm like not super religious or anything, guys, but it says like, you know, like faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains or something like that. Like I probably got this really wrong, but you get what I mean? Like you don't have to have perfect faith. Okay, so where it's hard to really fully believe is often, you know, our logical mind will trip us up when we don't see the when or the how. So you can just go general and lean into, I don't know when or how, but I'm certain that what I want is mine. You know? Give up on trying to force it to happen. Give up on trying to keep track of it's not here yet. Like you want to be so busy embodying the version of you want to be that you don't have time to notice that it hasn't shown up yet, you know? Kind of like how a watch pot never boils. You know, it's like, know that it's yours. That anytime it comes up or any doubt, be like, nope, I know I get to have what I want. I know it's all working out for me. The more you practice that, and like when you don't feel good, just stay calm and breathe through it. These doubts will pass. The more we interact with them, the more we let like emotionally get hooked into them, the more energy we feed them, okay? And then you're like in this constant battle, like a pendulum swinging between believing and not believing and like freaking out and being excited, and that doesn't feel good. You want to think stable, calm, and neutral. You know, it's not giving up on your manifestation. No, that's it. Like you've chosen this. This is who you are. It's inevitable. You don't need to figure it out. You don't need to control it. And each time the doubts come up, no, I know this is working out for me. Does that resonate? That's how I manifest the best. What was it like for me when I first manifested something in? Okay, so I just want to clarify, guys, like you're manifesting your whole entire life. You just haven't consciously, intentionally been manifesting because you weren't aware that you were creating your reality, right? The first thing that I really, I've manifested a lot of things. There were lots of times where I wanted something and then I like hammered it in until I got it and really forced my way there and efforted my way there. And I used to really pride myself on that because I'm a very determined person. Like when I decide what I want, I get it. But when I really wanted to play with manifesting things intentionally and consciously and like letting the universe, if you want to say it that way, do it for me, or like my inner being, my energy do the work for me. I actually was faced with something, I talked about it earlier, my health, like something that I have been trying everything and nothing was working. And I was like really called to surrender and stop efforting and stop trying to control it and just let go and know that it was going to fix itself. And so my body did heal. And it's not like I sat around and did nothing. I worked on, self-care. I was I wasn't following my joy because I was so hung up on like trying to fix this problem that like all joy had left my life, So I started to do simple things. Like I started to play again. I started to like just do things for the sake of doing them instead of trying to get an outcome. I was doing things because they felt good. I simultaneously was like working through my emotions and learning how to really kind of reparent and learn how to mother myself. So I was working through some like mother wounds and stuff and just working on my general self-worth. And then like whenever stuff came up about my body, I was like, I'm trusting that my body knows how to heal itself. I don't have to control this. So essentially I used the law of assumption to manifest healing in my body. And it happened quickly. It kind of felt like, I don't really know how to describe. I've manifested so many different things and they've all felt so different, but I guess I felt called to share this because that was the first thing that I manifested in the sense of like, I just got out of my own way and allowed it to happen. And it felt like, wow, this ease was available to me, and I was struggling all this time, all these years. I was fighting with this, and all I had to do was fucking let go. Like, wow. So that for me was probably like the most, like, I mean, I've manifested a lot of cool things. I've manifested a lot of big things, but like for me, that was where I really started making the connection of like, wow, like I don't have to effort my way. And it was really cool because I guess that would seem like a miracle to a lot of people, right? Like going to a bunch of different doctors and specialists and everyone having all these protocols and nothing was getting better, things were getting worse. And then to then have an autoimmune like heal itself, like that was big, right? Like have my acne heal itself, like, you know, that's big. But to me, it makes perfect sense because like you're an infinite being. Isn't health your divine birthright? You know, so for me, it was kind of like knowing that I get to have what I want, and it didn't need to be hard, but I had to learn that through kind of being forced to surrender because I was at a point where I had done everything I could and nothing was working, you know? You're welcome, Mello. Rebecca says, thank you for saying that about doubt. That makes me feel better. Yeah, of course. I mean, just know that like you get to make the rules. So don't make it ever that you need to have perfect faith. Like, let's let this be easy. You know, you get what you want. Hey, Ashley. Mello says it's amazing. It is. How is everyone? I think I've been on here probably a little over an hour. If anyone wants a reading, I can do a reading. If anyone else wants a reading, they're $25. But I am gonna hop off soon, I think, unless you guys have any other things you want to chit chat about real quick. But for the readings, if anyone wants one, they're $25. I read for you here. You can read on career, finances, just guidance, what you need to know, love, relationships, health, body, you know, whatever you want, self-love, self-concept, manifestation, all those things. I just don't do yes, no answers, and I don't read like to get info on someone else. This is all about like you and your journey and your personal development and like your alignment. Yeah. Thanks for all the love, guys. And just so everyone knows, for anyone new, all the ways to connect with me or work with me are linked at the top of my page. So I've opened up one-on-one coaching calls, like sessions, like Zoom sessions. I have email coaching. I have personal readings where I do them not on the lives. And then I have a bunch of self-paced programs, my self-concept guide, all that stuff. Oh, wait, Ashley has a success story. Yay. I have a success story. My credit card dropped my $2,700 payment to $300. I love it. That is amazing. Ashley, did you even intend for this, or was it just like because you're following your joy? Like, what a beautiful testimony. I know the answer to this. So that was so cool and unexpected. Yeah, that is. Because you're abundant and everything's working out for you. The more you relax and trust and have fun, the more you receive. The more you're just in the moment and focus on yourself and your joy, like problems will just resolve themselves. It's pretty fucking magical. But it took me like literally, I'm not saying it needs to take you guys as long, but it took me like years to get to that point of like trust. Like most of us just have a death grip on our desires and we like get so in the way. So much of this journey is really about releasing resistance. Like I'm all for the techniques. You'll hear me say this all the time. But I also want you guys to always know that it's also totally an option to just fully let go and surrender and trust and go really general with like everything's working out for me. My problems resolve themselves, you know, and just go play and have fun. Like that's totally an option too. Good morning. User says, good morning, beautiful from Malaysia. Be happy and always remember life like Hakuna Matata. I love it. Thank you. Good morning. Yes, Ashley, you do deserve that. Ashley says, thanks, guys. I've just been affirming general, like you say, and then here and there for money, not a lot. See? Okay, Ashley, I fucking love you. You're amazing. I'm so proud of you. Yeah. Totally. So yeah, if you do general affirmations, like everything's working out for me, I get to have what I want, my problems are all resolving themselves, I'm here to live an amazing life. I don't have to figure this out. I am loved. I am supported. And then if you want to affirm for like money or love or body or whatever, and be like, I'm abundant. I'm fucking rich. Like, I am wealthy. I'm affluent. I'm debt-free. I'm so good at making money. I'm a money magnet. You know, whatever you want to affirm. Or like, money's easy for me. Or I'm attracting the best relationship of my life. I always get commitment from the person I'm interested in, or I'm in the best relationship ever, or it feels so good to be loved, or I love knowing that I'm attracting in my dream partner. You know, you can affirm literally whatever you want. If you guys want lots of examples of how to create affirmations that work for you and like for different parts of your life, check out my self-concept guide. Because that, I walk you through like a lot of different ways to, I explain to you how and why it works and how to manifest through mastering your self-concept. But then I really take you through like how to create your own affirmations and so many different ways to do it. So like if you're someone who's affirming, but you're struggling with creating your own or finding some that feel good, you might want to check that out. And of course it can help you like in a private session too. If you could relive one day of your life, what day would that be? You know what? I really don't want to go back ever. Although what just came to mind was the last time I was in Hawaii, because the water in Hawaii is amazing. But yeah, I don't really, I'm grateful for everything I've experienced, but I really like to be present and moving forward. That's just where I'm at. That's a cool question though. Ashley says, no, I respect you so much for being honest about that time frame. It's been harder staying in trusting state with how things are changing, but super uncomfy today. I'm not sure what you're talking about. The time frame thing, Ashley, feel free. I might have, it's probably because I'm going back and reading these, not real time. Feel free to elaborate. Everything always works out for me all the time. I always get what I want. Or better, my top two. Yeah, aren't those good? Those are good ones. With health, I've just started saying, I refuse to worry about this. This problem has been solved. Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. And then focus on something else or just get relaxed. Yeah, relaxing is amazing. Yeah, just know, like, Ashley, when things feel uncomfortable, just don't emotionally spiral. Don't make up a story about it. It's okay to acknowledge where your human's at. Like, okay, today's not my favorite day. Today I'm not feeling that great. Okay, what could I do to feel better in this moment? Really focus on feeling better. And like you said, just relax or focus on something else. And then just affirm, like, I don't need to be afraid about this. Like, it's okay. I know the situation's getting better and better. Like, you know, if you're in debt and you're having like bills come in the mail all the time, like that often is like triggering, right? So like, you know, maybe you were doing really good paying things off and then you get an unexpected bill in the mail. It'd just be like, you know what? It's okay. I know that whatever needs to shift in order for this to be resolved will shift. I've already chosen, or I'm now choosing to be the abundant version of me. I've already chosen to be wealthy, affluent, and debt-free. Therefore, I know for a fact that this is just a step along the way and I'm going to end up where I want, you know? And just don't focus on it. Go like do something fun. Oh, that I said it took me years to trust the time frame. Oh yeah, it did. It did. I think so many of us have trust issues, you know, like, and I think sometimes when we see these manifestation coaches being like, just believe, it's like, yeah, that's true. But like how? And so sometimes, you know, we have to like, you know, meet ourselves where we're at. Like maybe you do need techniques on repeat and discipline and structure in the beginning to get yourself to this point where you're willing to believe, you know? Like I know for me, it kind of like, I had to kind of show up and do my part in a sense before I felt safe to like lean back and trust. But leaning back and trusting and receiving is always an option. It's just hard to like sometimes wrap our human brains around that. So you just keep going. I always tell people on this journey, just keep going, keep working at it, keep working on yourself and keep growing, and like your success is inevitable. It all compounds after a while. It gets easier. The better thoughts you think, the better you're going to feel, but also simultaneously, like the better you allow yourself to feel, the more you relax, the more the resistance goes away and the negative programming kind of seems to dissolve on its own. Yeah. Yeah, I just went outside and got my favorite drink and listened to videos for fun. It's amazing, right? Like, I remember when I stopped reading personal development books, I was like, I'm just reading romance novels, like, by the pool, because that's all I feel like doing. And it was great. And I was like, oh, I feel like I leveled up big time. I now read some more personal development ones here and there because I like learning it. But I felt like for a long time I was operating from the space of like, I'm broken and I need to fix myself in order to like make my manifestation happen. And then one day I was like, yeah, no, that's not it. Ashley says, I cringe when these coaches say if it's longer than 2 months, you're wrong. Yeah, guys, don't listen to these things. You know, like, everyone's having a completely different experience and journey. And I'm all for it being easy, and I'm all for, you know, getting out of the way and letting things like magically resolve themselves, and things can come in quickly, like things can shift quickly. But the more attached you are to that oftentimes creates more resistance, and everyone's just different. So for me, like, trying to manifest on a time frame just adds a ton of resistance, so I just don't do it. And really, when you understand like that it's all available to you now, it's not even about like how long it takes. It's like about feeling good now. You've now chosen to be that new version of you. So that's who you are now. The 3D is just going to catch up. You're that version now, regardless of what the outside shows you, you know? So it's always now, not later, if that makes sense. It's like, be so focused on embodying that new version of you now that your results come and find you. If you're looking for results, you're embodying the state of the person who doesn't have it. If you're like, nope, it's mine, it's done. Since it's done, I don't need to worry about it anymore. I can just go play and have fun and live my best life. That's the state of like having it, you know? It's so simple. It's like literally just stop worrying about it not happening and just feel good. Isn't that crazy? I forgot those romance novels were so scandalous, right? I know. I love going to the library. Everyone is so unique. What advice would I give myself 5 years ago? To just love myself and know that I can have what I want and I'm worthy of what I want. And I don't have to figure it out, you know? I would tell myself 5 years ago to work on my self-concept, because that's what changed everything for me. Work on faith and trust, releasing fear, being present, enjoying where I'm at in life, because each phase of life is beautiful and worth experiencing. You are the person you needed then. Yeah, exactly. Guys, I'm going to log off, okay? Because I have something I got to get to at 3:30. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. This was a good talk. I will upload. I'm so pretty. Thank you. I will upload this live to my YouTube. Just give me a little time. I'm a little behind on them, but there are plenty of other past lives you can go and watch. Love you too, Ashley. Thank you for being here. You're welcome. If you guys want to book a session with me, or email coaching, or personal reading, or check out my self-concept guide or any of my self-paced programs, that's all linked at the top of my page. Okay, if you're not following me, I invite you to do so. That way you get notified next time I go live. Am I going live tomorrow? No, not tomorrow, potentially Thursday. What are we today? Tuesday? Yeah. Usually like Tuesdays or Thursdays, but it varies each week. Just depends if I have clients or like other things going on. But I do go live at least once a week, okay? And again, you can check out the replays if you're not able to catch them live on my YouTube. But I love you guys. Have a great week. I'll catch up with you guys soon. You seem like a good and kind soul. Your family and friends are very lucky to have you. That's so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you guys. Okay, have a good week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.